Is the country too un-European, too un-Christian to actually get back to where we need to be? Is this performative? Or is reversing and revoking the birthright citizenship here, could this give us at least some containment to where we can ask ourselves what the hell's going on, and maybe at least buy ourselves some time to find a solution? Because I think the solution is going to be really, really nasty, and it's going to be very, very, very difficult to swallow. I'm sure you know that too. And I know that everyone's trying to stop us, including James Lindsay, including Konstantin Kiss, and they're trying to stop this Christian nationalism. They're trying to stop God, you know? So we got enemies on all fronts. I don't know what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah, it's funny that they use Christian nationalism as a boogeyman term, and I'm proudly a Christian nationalist. There's nothing wrong with putting Christ first and putting the interest of America first. And to respond to that video, he seems to be an exception to the rule. Stereotypes do exist for a reason. Obviously, there is an incentive to to pervert and to pervert the culture, essentially, of Christian Americans. And one way to do that is, as you said, with Saudi Arabia or these Middle Eastern countries sending their women here, or Mexico sending their people here, and you're removing the Christian American culture that is the bedrock of our society. When you have a bunch of people here that don't assimilate with that culture, look what's happening in the United Kingdom. Look what that mayor that was just elected he was the primary now in New York. This perverts the culture that we've always had. So I'm very much a Christian nationalist, and anything that pushes against that, I'm just going to be against. But I want to say one more thing. Christ is the only thing that is going to save us. No politician, no amendment being passed, nothing that a human being can make it could contain it. Like you said, it's going to contain it, but Jesus Christ is the only solution.
Can I ask you a question though? Do we want more Christians here, or is race still a factor? Like, do you think, like, Congo being like a predominantly Christian country, but obviously not really sharing any of our values, do you think that there still is an importance in our country to select carefully what countries, whether they're Christian or not, based upon racial and cultural differences? Or is it Christ is the only factor? Because that's a big debate on the right now, right? What do we select by? What do you think?
Christ absolutely comes first. That doesn't mean that you don't have a filter of people that their culture is so extremely different from ours. But I have to be principled here. Christ is absolutely center of my life, and I want to be in a neighborhood with based principled Christians. So
what does that mean, that Christ is the center of your life? Like, what is it? Just like, how is your life different from somebody who's, like a decent, somebody who's not doing like egregious illegal things, right? I'm not talking about that, but like somebody who's just like living their life. What does that mean? Like, if you want people to have Christ being the center, a lot of people who watch the show are not Christians, or they're, Christ, they call them like Christ curious, Christ adjacent, right? We grew up in it or whatever. But like, what does that mean as a young man to like actually live out your life? And why would we also want that?
Well, I have an objective basis to my morality. I don't walk around believing things just because it feels right in the moment, and the next month, because someone gave me a convincing argument, I now think something is immoral, where a month prior, I thought it was moral. So Christ-centered in my life is I have an objective standard that I live my life by, and I will die for it. That's what I think the definition of believe is. You will die for something. So before I was a Christian, I just did willy-nilly whatever I wanted, whatever felt right, whatever people around me at that time were saying, this is the right thing to do. I have a book. I have a moral system that has worked, that has built the Western civilization for thousands of years.
That makes sense. That goes into your voting and everything.
Everything. Christ first.
All right. I don't know if you want to weigh in on this, but I mean, you also have everyone's got a Jesus shirt. I feel like I messed up.
You're messed up, man. You didn't get the memo on this one.
I have a Quran in the office. I do. Some Muslims gave it to me. But go ahead.
I mean, of course, what I want in the world is I want everybody to be drawn closer to Christ. I want them to have that relationship with Jesus. It's very important, and it's how we should be our foundation, which we build upon. But as far as our country goes, I do believe that we need to keep our ethnicity of what the original founders are as the primary ethnicity. We can collect people from all over the world that can be Christian, but then they're not really Americans. It's kind of like a little bit separate. Does that mean that just, I guess saying like if they come here and they believe in God, you know, that's great because it keeps those same moral principles. But after a while, we're going to kind of wash out who we are. I've said it numerous times. I think Americans should stay majority, like, you know, European descent. Whereas if in Mexico, they should stay majority Mexican. I don't think any country should lose their, you know, who they are and what their culture is because they decide to pile a bunch of people in that we can't house, and we have all these different kinds of separations from us. So I do believe that, you know, as you mentioned, Jesus is the only one that can save us from this. Jesus is the one. Politicians aren't going to save us. But I also believe that we need to be strong Christian men who stand up to it as well, you know, and make sure that we do preach the word of God and we also carry ourselves accordingly, you know. And is that going to be easy? No, that's not going to be easy because the devil doesn't rob empty houses. The closer you draw to God, the more you're going to be attacked, the more you're going to have enemies against you. And, yeah. And so, and also if you look at the disciples, they didn't end up very good towards the end, but they never denied God. So, you know, as strong Christian men, we have to stand up to the wickedness. We have to be the light in the darkness. And I think that's what we're seeing now. Yes, some of the things may come off strong of what we do, but it's for the greater good of our country and also for God.
Yeah, I wouldn't particularly call myself like a strong Christian, you know, but like, but I'm really glad people are, you know what I mean? Like, cause I think a lot of young men are becoming strong Christians. And I think, you know, what that means for the country can only be good because a lot of people are just so esoteric and, you know, ethereal and open-minded that we need more people to be closed and rigid. Like people need to accept the boundaries. However, I do say there's definitely a truthful statement here. It's definitely Christianity because this Mormonism stuff, guys. I saw a clip today. This is crazy, and I'm not even meaning to talk poorly about him because he's actually a really nice guy, and it's easy to talk smack on people on the internet, right? Like, but like, dude, Zerka posted this. You know, this guy. You know, what's his name again?
Sonny Faz.
Sonny Faz, yeah, and he's been on the show. He's a really nice guy. I have nothing evil to say about him, but it's like, you know, he's a white guy, and he's what, Italian, I think, right? Yeah, he's Italian, something like that.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's Italian. So, you know, whether he's white or not, it's up for question. But you know, he converted to Islam.
Inshallah.
Akbar. I mean, the man's wearing a bed sheet, you know, in public, and I just like, and it's not to be rude, but my guy, you know, Zerka's right. He's like conquered, you know, you conquered yourself. And I said, chronically online and easily influenced. It's like hanging out with Sneeko too much, and this is what happens. This is why you like. It's like I've only met women who change their mind more than Sneeko. That's because that's you know, I've literally never.
He's
seen
loving
someone.
the new mayor. The guy who's in the primary or whatever, he's loving him. That
he'll hate him tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He'll start telling you why 10 reasons. He'll vote for him and tell you 10 reasons why you shouldn't have voted for him. I've never seen someone change their opinion more. And you know, everyone knows I had a famous crash out against Sneeko that had to delete because I got my channel deleted. But then again, he did make me lose a bunch of money. And originally the studio was built to do a show with him and some other people, and Fuentes and Myers like built this whole thing out to do the show, and then he canceled like the day before. So that was actually crazy. So I rightfully was angry. However, bringing that up about like young people becoming, what do you think about this? Let me bring this up. Like there's a bunch of people who are looking for God, and then people are converting to Islam. It's like, you've got to have a strong opinion on this, and not against Sonny's a nice guy. I mean, again, this is not a crash out on Sonny. I like him. He's a cool guy. He makes good content too. But like, I also got to be real. Now he's trying to convert people towards Islam, and like, I can't support that.